Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here, speaking to you from the rooftop of Morocco, capital city, the King City, here in lockdown. And I just wanted to talk about this scamdemic. Some people call it plandemic. Some people call it pandemic. I call it a scamdemic because it's a scam. I'll tell you something. There's a lot of information that is coming out now that we didn't know before. And one of the pieces of information is that not only did the virus come out of China, but it seems like it was financed by a guy called Dr. Fauci, who's advising the President of America. Apparently, as head of the Department of Health in America, he basically said yes to finance viruses in Wuhan for the tune of $3.7 million, which is not that much of a lot of money, but for some reason, they were interested in coronaviruses. And I believe what happened in that lab is that this virus was weaponized. And I've also been looking through lots of other information about this thing called Operation Shipwreck. And there's people saying that there's two kinds of factions in the Politburo, which is comprised of 24 people of the Communist Chinese Party, CCP, who basically, there was one faction fighting against corruption, the other faction, which is the old guard, the Jiang. And Jiang had ties with the Academy of Sciences, the Chinese Academy of Sciences, who basically controlled the Wuhan lab. So there's enough evidence out there to basically show, number one, that this pandemic, this virus started out of a lab in China. Now you could also say, there are some people saying that it's just the earth correcting itself, that man is the virus, and the earth has just created this virus naturally to cull the population. And that's possible. There was a book written by a guy called Dr. Robert Aubrey in the 70s, which was quite popular, called The Social Contract. And in it, he was talking about the very fact that there's no such thing as overpopulation. What he was saying is that in a sort of a herd where you've got alpha males and alpha females, you've got some that are basically males that are destined to copulate and procreate, and that the other males just sort of kind of sit on the sidelines and get a quickie when they can. So eventually what happens, you reach a certain plateau where the numbers just sort of like flatten out. Now we have to ask ourselves the question, where did these models come from that saying that millions were going to die? I'll tell you where they came from. The same guy that actually financed the Wuhan lab, and actually is beginning to look like a little bit like a plandemic. It looks, or what I call a scamdemic. Now, why would anyone in his right mind want to actually release this Pandora's box into the world and kill hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions? Why would anybody in their right sane mind want to do that? Is it because they want to cull the population? Is it because they want to shipwreck the economy so that they can reconfigure it, and that we can all become one big happy digital currency family and enter into the next phase of the global world agenda, which is to create this new world order, which everyone's talked about through the ages, George Bush has talked about it, and Gordon Brown mentioned the new economic world order. So one actually wonders, really what the hell is going on. And then it's 5G or not 5G. They're saying, oh, it's 5G causing the virus, and no, this is all bullshit. I believe this is a real virus, but it kills 0.07% of the population, or 0.7 at the worst. Okay, 85% of the people who get this virus have mild symptoms. The rest, say 10%, need oxygen. They don't need intubation, which means basically they stick something into your throat and they force the lungs to work, which is actually causes damage to the lungs, and a lot of people die from that. And that's really, a lot of people that are dying is because they have underlying health conditions like diabetes, obesity. They're too old, their bodies can't handle it, and so it's kind of like the rationale is that there's going to be a few casualties along the way, but then we can implement this new world order, and people will take it to like a baby takes to his mother's milk and start sucking from it. So the fact that actually the whole world is in lockstep with this lockdown, and only very few countries have said no. It actually shows you the immense power that the World Health Organization has, and the immense power that concerted action from what I call the 1%, which Bill Gates is part of the 1%, and who knows who else. I don't believe that Donald Trump is in control of this United States of America. I think at the moment he's just a puppet, and he's already signed off his presidential powers when he signed that national emergency order, which basically gives the all the major decisions over to FEMA and the deep state, or the people behind the person. So I think when they actually asked him about total authority, I think that was Donald Trump pushing back, because he obviously doesn't like what's going on, and I think he knows a lot more than what he's saying at the moment. Of course he knows, but he's been told to shut the fuck up. So this is a scamdemic, actually, not even a plandemic. I wouldn't say these guys they 100% planned it. I think this is a scam. Why tank the whole world economy? For what purpose would you want to bankrupt the whole world economy? And the only reason I can see is that they've already ascertained that the tests that they're giving people are not valid, and that people who are so-called asymptomatic can get the test and they can test positive but not show any symptoms. Now that in itself is very, very suspect. So the more I'm looking into it, the more I'm saying to myself, this is a scam, and we need to actually stand up against it. And as a rainbow warrior for many, many years, I've known all about the Illuminati and about the world agenda for many years. I wrote a book actually in the 90s. It was called Universal Concepts, and actually I did touch on that subject. But a lot of the information that you hear about today is censored, and you've got Google engine, which is centralizing information. By the way, Google only has indexed 0.04% of the entire internet. The deep web constitutes about 90% of the whole web. That's hardly even indexed. So there's great opportunities to actually, overthrow these great big companies which are controlling the world. But it's got to happen with a kind of a people's revolution. What I call the Rainbow Revolution, basically, is where the mycelium, it's the people who are working in the shadows, like myself, like many other people. Some of them who created Bitcoin in the first place. Yes, uh, part of the what I call the mycelium, and all these people working in the shadows are now coming out of the shadows, because it's like a big poker game. One says, okay, I'll raise you a pandemic, and I'll see you. And the other guy says, okay, now what's happening is everyone is coming out of the woodwork, including myself, and actually sharing this information, and connecting with other people who are part of the mycelium, which don't even know that they're part of it, actually, by the way. They just know that something's not right, and they see that there's a kind of a big move to get this, how can I say, the whole world's population under control, because this is all about control. And everyone's talking about the 2030 agenda. Even President Xi, he has this dream about building this Silk Road, Belt and Road initiative. He's invested billions and billions of dollars into it, and he is actually in lockstep with this 2030 agenda. What is this 2030 agenda? And it's obvious that it's all about artificial intelligence, getting self-driving cars, 5G, and the RFID chips, or the digital certification that Bill Gates is talking about. So they're not going to be able to control the population, the movement of the population, without being chipped. So that's the next step, is for us to get the alleged vaccine that is coming, that allegedly vaccinates you, so you don't get the virus. And we know that any vaccine is not 100% safe. We have to investigate it, and it needs years before you can actually say that a vaccine is safe. But they're accelerating everything, and all the medical technology has been put into this vaccine that's coming, and I'm sure it's possibly even here already. I wouldn't be surprised. That it's just really they're just, it's too obvious what's going on. It's like, we just need to join the dots here. We need to actually figure out this puzzle, because something is going on and we need to find out what it is. So I will try to share some information with you in my next video. I'm not very good at this thing, but I'll try. I don't have to force myself. I'm more of a writing man than a sort of a video man. I'll leave that up to the hipsters. So yeah, at the moment, I'm just living my life here. We're waiting for the lockdown to end. We've got another month to go, 20th of May. So I'm just making my daily video vlog. And if you've got any comments, please comment. If you have any links, send me some links, send me some information. Let's join the dots together and find out what's really going on with this scamdemic. Thank you.